still to this day.
Yeah,
because we're not seen as equal in any regards in those kind of situations. There's tokenism, like you'll get one person go through, or you get this person go through. What I think is hilarious.
We need some more tokens though, because they've used them all up forever.
What I find hilarious though, this is I don't know if I've had this conversation with you, but what I find hilarious is, there's an analogy that I'll make as well, is when people ask Asian artists, why is there no Asian artists in the mainstream? That's like one of my pet peeves. Why is there no Asian artists in the mainstream? And this is what I compare it to. There's these talks that happen on it's called the Hollywood Roundtable. These talks that happen on YouTube, and they have a bunch of these A-listers that have been nominated for awards, or directors or actors. They have different ones, and they talk and discuss things about their films, industries, creative process. So there's one where they did the actresses one, and I can't remember who brought it up and who said these things, but they asked the women. They said, why are women paid less money as actresses than the actors? And I can't remember, like, God bless this actress, I can't remember her name, but what she said was, she goes, why are you asking us? You have a round table talk with the producers and the directors and the studio heads. Why do you not ask them? They have the power to pay us equally, and you're asking us.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So when people ask Asian artists, why aren't there Asian artists in the mainstream? We're the artists. We don't decide where our music gets played. We don't decide who plays our music and all this stuff. There are talented artists, if not more talented artists than certain mainstream artists that are Asian, but those doors are closed. So speak to the people who are in charge of these institutions, these labels, these radio companies, these, whatever. Speak to them and ask them, why are there no Asian artists? Don't ask the artists. It's not our responsibility to get in those spaces. It's our responsibility to create art, which is good, and which a lot of us do. And it's their responsibility to push it and to recognize it, nurture it, and put it in these avenues, just like they do with other artists of other races.
I feel like that's the same.
Ran over.
No, but even like with like not even just music, but like art in general, whether it be something that's like more creative, people are scared to do the brown thing because they'll get boxed in, and they feel like that's the only thing that they can do. And they also think other people will think that's the only thing that they can do, when in fact they actually do X amount of other things.
But then what it does is it creates such a big divide between people that do that and people that don't do that, because the people that don't do that, they go out of their way not to do Asian stuff. They will fully distance themselves completely, and then those doors get completely blocked for anyone that is doing that, because they're so far away, removed from what they're doing. So, and there's a bit of self-hate in that as well. I think people that go in those environments or get accepted in those environments, it's the tokenism. They're like, okay, I'm the one that's made it through. None of these lot is behind me gonna make it through, because then they're gonna start using them. It's crabs in a barrel mentality. We don't want these lot to come through as well. I'm the guy, put all the praise on me. Oh, is there any other Asian, whatever it is? Nah. Ignore. They're all this and that, whatever. So it becomes like it's just a circle, man. It's been going around, and it's in different environments with different races. Like if you look at in America, if you look at black actors, there was a long time where there was only one black actor who was allowed to be the top guy.
Who was that?
It was Richard Pryor, then it was Eddie Murphy, then it was Chris. Like, you only allowed one guy, then it was Kevin. Like, at the moment, it's Kevin Hart. There's like, they only allow one in at a time. And
I never even thought about it like that.
They talk about, if you listen to their interviews and podcasts and all that kind of stuff, they talk about that a lot. Like, the people that are in charge have a mentality of, we're only going to let a certain amount of people through. Or we're only going to let a certain type of person that we want to allow through. And with music, or especially in this country, even black like actors and artists in this country, they find it very difficult as well in this country. Sometimes you have to go out of this country, gain success, and then come back here.
Don't you think that's the same with like cultures, like all different cultures as well? Like, you have to go excel elsewhere, away from your current culture, or whatever you do, to be respected sometimes in doing whatever you're doing. I think that's a shame, because we, like, especially in the UK, like, I feel there's so much talent, but it's not nurtured or recognized. You have to kind of, like, there's a lot of love I get
outside of this country.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation before and saying
we have you get
a lot more love abroad than
and they respect how long I've been doing it, what I've been doing. They pay attention to all that stuff, and they're knowledgeable on it, and it's nice, man. Like it's sometimes it's these things where if people are familiar to you and you're one of them, they don't necessarily appreciate it as much. And I've had these conversations. I think obviously we've had this conversation before. I have this conversation with other artists as well. Like an artist from Canada, for example, they'll get more love in the UK, rather than in Canada. I'll go to Canada and I'll get more love than I get in the UK. Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot to do with the fact that the person from the UK is a lot more relatable to you because you're from the same place. So it's more like, well, you're still from the same place that I am from. You still shop at the same place I shop. You still eat the same food I do.
They're not as fancy, basically.
Yeah, I mean, so they just put you. I'm not saying that you should put people above you, but they still look at you as equals or lower because you're from the same place.
Yeah.
And so, Kai, even you were saying, like sometimes when you look at where like we take bookings for events and stuff, it's usually outside of your local area. It's not usually like Rax. How often do you get booked for gigs in Luton?
Yeah. I hear you.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I think it's like if something's seen as exotic because it's not from you, and it's seen as more valuable as well because it's not readily available.
Yeah. I never even thought about that, but it's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you see certain foods that are available at Tesco's and that.
Say less.
You know what I'm saying? You go for something that's in season.
Bro, if someone said I brought you a green apple, you'd be like, alright bro, but I can go take one off that tree from outside. Exactly. If someone said, bro, I got you a sour sop, or I got you like, you know.
But just to play devil's advocate, yeah? So let's just say...
Mangoes. And if you look at our representation in any type of media,
anything,
it's super low, like compared to what our actual numbers are in this country, and that's not because of the people. It's not because of there aren't enough actors, bro. There's bare Asian actors. It's not because of there's no Asian musicians. There's behind the scenes there's a bunch of people doing a bunch of amazing things, but in front of the camera you won't see a lot of Asian. And they'll try and it's hilarious, these discussions, because people will be like, oh, it's because why aren't there Asian footballers? Oh, because Asians their parents don't support them doing this. Their environments aren't, their parents put them more towards medical things. Like, bruv, no, it's not that. It's because the doors are closed for us. That's what it is. That's the real thing. If you had one person break through in any of these things, the doors would be smashed open. You'd see hundreds of people coming through.
Because slowly, I'd say even in film or TV or wherever, it's like the Khans and these lot are now changing that narrative. Like you can fully watch man like Moby and think, cool, I can relate to this geezer, semi. I can relate to him more, 100%.
Finally, there's something like what Gaz has done is amazing. It's finally feel like something. It's like one of us has kind of done something where we're not. It's not embarrassing to watch that show. Exactly. You're not watching that show like, what is he doing? You're watching that show like, bruv, that's so funny. That's hilarious. That's exactly how we should be represented.
Exactly. Because I was having this conversation the other day with comedians, for example, you like comedy as well, because I saw that on your podcast the other day. So my comedy goes back because I'll be real with you, when I was younger, I wasn't allowed out of the house for years. Okay. So that's why I asked you as well, like, how was your upbringing? So I wasn't allowed to come out of the house. So my weekends used to consist of listening to Limelight and Candyman in the nighttime and then banging out YouTube from the weekends when I was allowed to. So I started watching bare comedy. Yeah. So obviously it started off with the Eddie Murphys and stuff like that. Then the Russell Peters come out, and then you're then evolving into the Paul Chowdhury's and stuff like that. Yeah. And then as you go on, and as I got older, or maybe at my younger ages, you remember Goodness Gracious Me and stuff. And I'm not taking away what they've achieved or anything like that at all. But I don't resonate with that comedy anymore. Okay. Because I feel like people use that against me. Okay. So when I look at what was the other geezer? Adil Ray did it. It was a program. What was that? Citizen Khan. Yeah. I hated that. Yeah. Firstly, I hated it because it just had such a bad picture of those Asian types of people and that religion. But it kind of people are like, oh yeah, the girl where she take her headscarf off. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's a Muslim girl, if it's a Punjabi girl wearing a chunni, whatever it is. Yeah. They don't always just take it off and hiding from their parents. Them days are gone, yeah? If you don't want to wear it, you don't wear it anymore. That's the way I see it anyways, anyway, yeah? Of course, there's certain people that you have to wear it as well, whatever. But it's people only have that vision of you now. And like it got on such the masses. Like they love, like other people love seeing that stuff. And I'm like, bro, this guy is nothing like my dad. Yeah, and then that's nothing like my sister or my cousin or whatever. Marriages don't happen like that. And it's always got like that dumb guy that's doing this, and I just like hate that stuff. Same with like Paul Chowdhury, like some of the jokes he makes, man. I'm just like, come on, man, but that's not us. And I get it. Like sometimes people say like, cool, you don't understand it because what he's trying to do is he's trying to show the other side of things so people can see how ridiculous it is. I get that. I really do get that, and I do understand that. At the same time, I'm just like, but I don't feel that it always has that effect.
The issue is you can have all types of stuff. The problem is when you just have one type of, you're only showing one type. So Citizen Khan, I'm not a fan of it personally. Yeah. But if we had Citizen Khan, Man Like Mobeen, you got a show like, you know, Top Boy, but it's got, you know, there's Asian people involved in that. You have Asian people. If you have like Asian people represented, like, because Asian people aren't a monolith. Yeah. We're not all like this. We're not all like that. Yeah. If you have a representation, a wider representation of what Asian people are, it doesn't matter if you like that or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But the issue is they only have like one thing. So it's like that has to be for us. We have to feel like that represents all of us, and that's where the problems comes in.
Yeah, of course.
So if you had like, it's like, you know, white people don't say, oh, I don't like this show because it shows all white people like this. They have like 50 million shows, like pick this one, pick that one, pick this one. We have like 3.
And yeah, it goes back to...
They all portray us in a certain way.
Always.
Even like back to where we were talking about Line of Duty earlier, if you go further... Oh, I won't spoil it for you, but if you go further into the seasons, there's like 4 or 5 Asian people that are arrested or killed.
Sorry, the first episode, the geezer's Asian guy's a terrorist.
Bro,
every time.
The Asian people, I've only seen the last 2 seasons, but the Asian people are always like some sideline characters.
Yeah. Sideline characters, and they always end up getting either they've done something bad or they're about to bomb something. Or
didn't Riz Ahmed say that he was recently turning down those roles? He was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah, give me a proper role. I'm glad he doesn't have to, because he done so many of those because that's all they were giving him. Like he did that for about good 5-6 years, probably longer than that. Like he played like a terrorist in bare films, bro.
He became that.
And I'm not saying anything's bad with the actors taking those roles, because you know what?
Get the work,
getting on screen and filling those roles, but it's weird how writers and people above the actors and actresses.
But you got this is what I'm saying. Like the writers, the people behind the scenes, they're not us. They're not the people that write.
They're
if you look at Guz's show, Guz wrote that show, bro.
Yeah.
That's why it's his voice. That's why he's representing. He probably had people saying, "Oh, you know what? You should have an Asian guy doing this, or you should have da 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 da," and he was probably like, "Nah, we're not doing that." If you want some Asian guy to do this, and the other thing is with Guz's show, like Man Like Mobeen, Tez on that, he plays like a dumb character.
Yeah.
But we don't think, oh, look how he's making Asians look dumb.
True. Yeah.
Because he's not the only Asian guy on the show. If it was like a bunch of white people and one Asian guy, and the Asian guy's an idiot, you'd be like, bruv, they're representing us like
Big
that.
Bang Theory, basically.
So this is what I'm saying.
Undesirable man.
That's why I'm saying you need a variety of these things, and you need to have representation in loads of different genres, different voices, and then we won't have to be like... you know, that's embarrassing, or we can still say that, but we'd be like, you know what, ignore that. This is what I'm more into, or this is more representative of how I feel or what I've been through or my situation.